Morning Year 6. This week we are carrying on with percentages and percentages of amount. Now last week a few of you struggled a little bit with finding 5%, so we're going to start off with a little recap of 10% and 1% and then go over 5% before we move on to today's learning. Pause the video and have a go at these calculations. Hopefully you remember that to find 10% of something, we divide it by 10. Now to divide by 10, let's think about our place value grid. We're moving all of our digits one place to the right. So we've got 10% of 30. So 30 divided by 10, move everything one place to the right, gives us 3. Now 1% of 30. Well, to find 1% of something, my 100% is 30, so I've got to divide it by 100. Now that's 2 places to the right. So if 10% is 3, we're going to make it 10 times smaller, so it gives us 0.3. So now we've got a bigger number, 10% of 4,000, so dividing it by 10 gives us 400. And then this time we've got 1%, so dividing it by 100, and that gives us 40. Now this one we've got slightly different, so 10% of 280 divided by 10 gives us 28, so that's 10%. Now this time to find 1%, because we don't know it by 100, it's going to give us a decimal, it's not a whole number. So 1% of 280 is 2.8. Well done if you got those. Now let's move on to thinking about 5% of something. So last week Miss Smith gave you 2 methods to do this. The first method, so if we've got 5% of 80, the first method she gave you, or one of the methods, was to find 1% of 80. So let's think, we've got to do 80 divided by 100. Oh, I've got 800 there, sorry. 80 divided by 100, so we're moving it 2 places to the right, and that gives us a decimal, 0.8. Now my answer, because I've found 1%, but I need 5 times that. So I need to times my answer by 5. So 0.8 times by 5. This is a decimal, remember, so it's 8 tenths. So what's 5 lots of 8 tenths? Well, that's 40 tenths. But I can't fit 40 tenths in my tenths column, so I exchange them for 4 ones. Okay, so 5% of 80 is 4 wholes. Now she gave you another method, and I agree with Miss Smith that I personally find this the easiest method. If you're happy with that, that's absolutely fine. But I find to find 5%, it's easiest, so we're still doing 5% of 80. It's easiest to find 10%, so 10% of something we divide by 10. So 80 divided by 10 gives us 8. And then I only want, this is twice as much as what I want. I only want 5%, not 10%. So I have to halve my answer. So divide it by 2, which gives us 4. So we get the same answer for both, but you just need to decide which method you find easiest. Now I find it easiest to find 10% and then halve it, because this way you've got to think about those decimals. If you're confident with that, that's absolutely fine. Using either of those methods, have a go at these calculations, finding 5% of these amounts. I've chosen to show you a method of finding 10% and then 5%. So 5% of 100, 10% is 10, so 5% is 5. 5% of 20, 10% is 2, so half that is 1. 5% of 2,000, a bigger number, so the answer should have been 100. And 5% of 500 is 25. Well done if you got those. Don't worry if you used a different method. We're now going to apply this knowledge and start putting it all together. So today our focus is finding percentage of amounts that are multiples of 10. So 10%, 20%, 30% and so on. So I've got 2 on the board that I'm going to go through. The first one is 20% of 180. Now I know that 20% is made up of 2 10%, so that's where I'm going to start. 10% of 180 gives us 18. So now let's think, I need 2 lots of those. So to find 20%, I'm going to do 18 times by 2, which gives us 36. So 20% of 180 equals 36. Then the second one I've got is 50% of 1,200. Now 50% is actually the same as a half, because if we think, if 100% in percentages is our whole, 50% is half of that. So what I'm actually doing is finding 1/2 of 1,200. So you could just do this nice and easily in your head and half 1,200. Half of 1,000 is 500. Half of 200 is 100. So the answer is going to be 600. Now we could also do it exactly the same way as this. So 10% of 1,200 is 120. And then this time we're going to have to times my 10% by 5 to get to 50%. So to get 50%, we would do 120 times by 5. 5 times 100 is 500. 5 times 20 is 100. Same answer, 600. Now you'll notice that lots of these calculations I'm doing mentally, so you don't always have to do a written calculation. Even if we're looking at a big number like this and thinking, I can't do that in my head, you can just break it up, partition it. Some of them you might need to write down. So using that method, so think about find 10% and then multiply it by however multiples of that 10 it is. So 30%, find 10%, times it by 3. Pause the video and have a go at these calculations coming up. Let's start off then. 30% of 800. Find 10% first, so divide it by 10 gives us 80. And then to find 30%, I need to times that by 3. Well, 8 times 3, 8, 16, 24. Make it 10 times bigger. 30% must be 240. Next one is 40%. So find 10%. Divided by 10 is 9. I need 4 lots of that, so 9 multiplied by 4 gives us 36. Over here we've got a bigger number, so we need to be careful of our place value. 60% of 700. Well, 10% divided by 10 is 70. And I need 6 lots of that to find 60%. So 7 times by 6 gives us 42. Make it 10 times bigger, 420. And you can also use your estimation. So if it was 50% of 700, it'd be 350. So I knew it's got to be bigger than that. So 420 seems about right. And then the last one, 70% of 8,000. So same again, 10% divided by 10 gives us 800. And then 70%, we need to be careful of our place value. So timesing this by 7. Okay, so 8 times 7 gives us 56. But I need 7 lots of that, so it's 5,600. Okay, if you got 560, think, well, it can't be less than 10%, so our answer should be 5,600. Well done if you got those. There's 2 more that I want you to have a go at, and these 2 are a little bit trickier because they involve your understanding of decimals. So the first one is 8% of 32, so it's exactly the same process, find 10%, times it by 8. And the second one is 90% of 75. So again, you could do it the same way, find 10% and then times it by 9, or see if you can think about it if there's a more efficient method. Okay, for this first one, 10% divided by 10 gives us 3.2. And then to find 80%, we needed to multiply this by 8. So that would give you the answer of 25.6. I hope you remembered to carry. Then the second one is 90%. So we could do the same thing. So we could have 10%, which is 7.5, and then multiply this by 9, which gives us 67.5. But a more efficient method, if we know that 100% is 75 and we know 10% is 7.5, we could just subtract this amount and it'll give us the same answer, 67.5. Well done if you got that. Now I want you to pause the video and have a go at this word problem. Think about the whole percentage and work out what's left. So first off, find 50% of the pages, which is 235, and then 20% is 94 pages. If you add those together, it gets 329 pages that she's read. So to figure out what she's got left, you do 470, take away 329. Alternatively, as we know that she's read 70% of the book, we know she's got 30% left to read. So we could find out 10%, which is 47, multiply it by 3, and you get the same answer of 141 pages. Well done if you got that. That's it for today. Task is over on Purple Mash. Let us know how you get on and we'll see you tomorrow.